Hello everyone, and I'm here with my very good friend Yoon, and he's originally from Korea. And Yoon and I went to a class together called TBLT at Teachers College, Columbia University. And Yoon, would you mind introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Yoon Namkung. In Korean, my name is Namgung Yoon. So actually, my last name is a very rare last name. So usually Korean people have one syllable for their last name, but my last name is two.
How do you say that again?
Namgung.
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 Yes.
That's
so
hard
in
for
English,
me.
I just say Namkung, but it's a very rare last name. So some people call me Namkung instead of Yoon.
Oh, that's why Peter called you that.
Yes, yes, exactly.
That's a
I
side
was gonna
story.
mention that, yeah. But like, my name is Yoon. I am from South Korea. I was born in Seoul. I went to America when I was 3 years old.
So you came here to the U.S. Where did you stay?
I lived in Connecticut. Right. I went there because of my parents' study. My father was doing his PhD in the University of Connecticut. He studies political science. So I was there as a baby, so I don't really remember.
So from age 3
to age 8.
So 5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
Oh.
So I was there for 5 years, and all the things I remember are like, running around in the grass, or like smelling cows.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it was a very quiet countryside. I also remember reading a lot of books because since I was young, I really enjoyed reading books.
Yeah, that's what I heard about you.
Yeah.
And so then when you reached the age of 8,
Right.
you went back to South Korea.
Yes, I went back to Seoul and I went to school.
All in Korean or in English?
In Korean. And at that time, there were not many people who lived abroad.
Before.
Yes. And the place where I lived right after I went back to Korea was a place that was not really, globalized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was the only one who lived abroad, and everyone, I couldn't speak good Korean at that time, so everyone was like,
what happened
they
to
looked
this
at
girl?
me with very,
with a strange look
Yes,
at you.
yeah.
I understand that. So basically when you were at the age, when you were younger, English was much better language than Korean to
Right,
you.
so actually for me it's kind of weird because first I spoke Korean,
Right.
and then when I went to America, I spoke English.
Right.
And then I did code switching, which is something I learned from sociolinguistics.
What is that? Code switching?
So code switching is so basically it's like switching to another language, very naturally.
English and Korean.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I spoke Korean to my parents. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my parents spoke Korean to me,
Yeah.
and I spoke in English to them.
Oh.
And sometimes, I had to go to Korean school, which was always done on the weekend.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But
so you have to
after-
learn Korean in Korean school,
Yes, in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Just to keep up with your Korean language.
Right. Because my parents wanted me to speak Korean as well.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Right.
That's really nice. So
Right.
you learn English in real life when when you do whatever in your life, and you go to school in Korean school to learn Korean.
So
at
on the
Connecticut.
weekdays I go to public English
Right.
school, and then on the weekends I go to a Korean school. Yeah, so I went to school every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But one thing that sticks with you since when you were here in the States was that you read. You like reading.
Exactly. So what I remember was my mom was a volunteer at the library, so she always went to the library to help out, help people out, check out books. Because my father was a PhD student and my mother was a housewife, so she had to
To do
spend
something.
time.
Yeah, spend time.
Yeah,
doing
and
something
I
very
always
good.
went with her because my brother was a little older than me. So he went to primary school, and I followed my mother, and I went to the library and I read books every day. Yeah, she was working and I was reading books. Yeah,
What
and
a fun way to spend your time there.
Yeah, and I also remember making stories as well.
Huh.
I loved drawing, so I used to make books by myself. I bought a sketchbook and then I write, and then I drew pictures.
Not only
yeah.
the languages you learn from there, you still you work on your creativity back then
Right,
too.
right. I loved art when I was young.
So can you still draw these days?
No. I love to, but if I have time, I would like to continue, but I don't have time to
So
do that
English
right
and drawing went directly. I mean, went different ways.
Right, that's true.
But English sticks with you until
Right,
these days.
right.
So you then, after that, you went back to Korea,
Uh-huh.
and then you finished your bachelor's degree. What did you do in your bachelor?
So I
Undergrad. I should
yeah
say.
after I went to Korea, I went to middle school, high school, and then
Right.
I went to Ewha Women's University, which is in Seoul.
Which is a really famous university in Korea.
Yeah, it's a women's university, so I think it's popular for a lot of guys. Yeah. I heard that like, a lot of foreign students who are interested in like studying abroad, they're like Ewha is like one of the most popular.
Really?
Yeah, because they want to go to a women's university.
Oh.
Yeah. So I studied English language and literature there for my bachelor's, and then I continued my master's in linguistics.
And you're now doing here in applied linguistics.
Right, and then like I wanted to pursue future studies, but I wanted to do it abroad because I thought what I learned in Korea is very limited. Because Korea is a very homogenous society. The people, you know, they are really good people, but I wanted
they're
to
like really
experience
globalized already, to me, in my opinion.
in Korea.
Right,
But like
right.
I would say still it's more they don't speak well.
Oh yeah.
Like compared to the past, it's globalized, but I would say if you go to Korea, not many people speak fluent English.
Very similar to Thailand.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're like in college or.
But you
unless
still
you're-
learn English using Korean as a medium, right?
Yes,
Is that what you do?
yes. So when I went to high school and middle school, I learned I had to go through all the Korean curriculum, English curriculum. So I experienced both. Yeah, both
Very
sides.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So you know, as you notice, her English is really, really good.
no, no, it's not.
She always says no, just like, you know, she wants to be really humble. And do you have any tips or anything to share with the audience, like how you keep up with your learning English? With
So
English learning, I should say.
So when I was in high school, I actually went to a foreign language high school. It's like a high school that's a little specialized in language. So I learned. So my third language is Japanese. Well, now I forgot a lot, but like I used to be very good at it. But they're like they still had the the cliche Korean English curriculum where you had to like memorize all the grammar, all the rules. We had like English A, English B, English conversation, English writing. It was all like very strict and very split. But I wanted to be a little different when I was learning English because when I went back to Korea, my English started to get worse.
Yeah.
Because
which is really typical for all the
Exactly,
learners.
yeah.
Once you spend your time abroad a little bit, like for a few months or even years,
Right.
your English can go down once you go back to home country, which
exactly
is really fun. Yeah.
right. So
you want to keep up with that?
yes, I wanted to keep up with my English because I knew language was my strength and I knew language is the thing that I like most. So what I did was while everyone was like trying to translate everything and for classes, I always tried to carry an English dictionary with me. Yeah,
That's
and-
really heavy.
Right,
And that's
right.
impressive.
And even though I didn't understand the English definition, I just tried to swallow it. I tried to memorize the sentences that were in the dictionary so that I could understand the context instead of getting a one-to-one translation. Right. I thought it was a bad thing to learn English because language is not something that matches equally.
Right.
It's something that you have to learn through context.
Yeah.
So that's one strategy that I use for myself,
That's very
which really
useful.
helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's very useful. Once
Right.
you learn a language, there's no way for you to always translate from one language to another because all the languages are really attached
Right.
with culture
Right.
aspect of it.
Right.
And you can only understand within the context, right?
Right.
Okay. You have any other tips to share?
One other tip is I think it's very helpful to have a lot of friends who speak a variety of language because what I think like I kind of agree with what you guys talked about earlier that like you don't have to be perfect in English to be a good speaker. Like
Yeah. I
well,
totally agree with that too.
like I'm kind of embarrassed because in the past I used to think like that. I used to think that if someone made a mistake, it's not good English, and you should be accurate to be a good speaker. But like later, after as I grew older, I noticed that
As you grow up,
accuracy
that you
is
not
not that
grow older.
important. I knew that content is more important, and your attitude and how you deliver your message is more important than your pronunciation or your grammar. So I know those are also important, but still like you need to be yourself when you speak English, and that gets delivered through your message while you speak.
That is really
Yeah.
important. That the points that Yoon said, you have to be yourself when you speak. English.
Right.
You don't want to pretend, or you don't want to mimic another person.
Exactly.
Trying to be like a native speaker, because
Right.
I don't think you can do that.
Right.
In whatever language, even in your native language. And the other point that I really like when you said, be determined. Just go for it. If you really believe this is something you want to pursue, just do it
Right.
at your best ability.
Right. And it's okay to make mistakes. That's what I learned. Because first I thought that I need to be perfect in everything, but later on, like I noticed that it's impossible.
It is really a
Yes.
lot. It is really something that I tell my students a lot.
Right.
It's okay to make mistakes because we learn from mistakes anyway,
Right.
right?
Right.
It is
And it's
so,
more natural. I
Yeah, it's really natural.
guess. Right.
You know.
And you learn from your mistakes, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good learning opportunity as well to make mistakes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today.
Okay, thank you.
It is really nice.
Thank
감사합니다.
you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you. Awesome. Wow.
I don't know if I helped, but
Ooh,
yeah.
This is great. This is great. This is great.